This video is not intended for anyone 13 or younger. Hello viewers and welcome back to another My Hero Academia read-through, and today we're going to be tackling chapter 253. And last week was completely emotional with Endeavor having his long chat with Natsuo and Fuyumi, and Endeavor decided to go into an existential exile in his own damn house, while his rest of his family go far away from him as possible. So yeah, that is quite emotional last week, but still, I'm still a little worried about this whole Copa situation with if my show is going to actually survive. And I know for a fact that this show, doing the chapter readings and the and the and playing video games are not intended for kids. So I know that, but I'm worried that the YouTube bot they're going to use is going to flag mine. I'm I'm thinking about taking down my videos closer to January, but I know I'm going to be away. But I'm thinking about taking down all my videos and then come back in a couple of days and check on other YouTubers that do the same thing as I do, and if they're okay, then I'm okay. So yeah, I don't know, but if things go well in January and I don't get fined and everything is going to be okay, I know I just read chapters and playing video games. It's the YouTube bot I'm worried about. But if the rules state that if I have to play mature games and mature games are okay, I'll probably go focusing on that for gaming from now on. And yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm still having doubts about the government. And speaking of the FTC, the comments for sending a comment to the FTC is going to be over in 3 days. So you'll have only until December 10th to send a comment to the FTC, but and I'm not 100% sure. I'm doubtful that the FTC, is going to listen. They'll just flat out ignore us. That's my that's my biased opinion that they don't care. And yeah, so I probably will have to see after January. I'm probably going to delete all my videos, but I'll still be around if things go well. If the YouTube won't delete my channel automatically, that would be. So yeah, so enough of my ramblings for this week. So we're going to be tackling chapter 253, and before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It only takes 2 simple clicks. Click, click. Enjoy the episode. Yeah. First off, we get a full color page of Ida with the text saying, "With these legs of mine, I'll race to the aid of the world." The first of 2 consecutive color pages. So we're getting a color page for this week and next week. So yeah, first of 2 consecutive color pages celebrating the countdown to the new movies released for Japan only for right now. So yeah, hopefully, and I think the English dub of the film will probably be out in 2020, and I'll definitely go and see it in the theater. I have gone to 2 other movie theaters of seeing 2 anime films this year. This year, well, there was one with the first My Hero Academia movie. It was fully packed when I went there, and everybody was having a blast of a time. And the second one, I went to see One Piece Stampede and I thought it was enjoyable. I thought it was perfectly enjoyable. It did have little issues for me, but there were some people who did enjoy the film, and yeah. And the only critique of this Ida drawing is the mufflers on his legs. I mean, seriously, they're freaking huge. I mean, that's gotta be annoying to be smacked around the side of the arms, really. So with that little rambling, let's go to the first proper page, and we start of My Hero Academia chapter number 253, Shira Kumo. Okay, that's a bit weird. And we start off with going back to the UA school, and we get more of Midoriya's dialogue and narration. Our winter break flew by in a flash, and our classes resumed again. And we see multiple panels of the USJ and the tournament stadium throughout this dialogue. Before we before we had before we had even realized it, there were only 3 months left. So yeah, we went until the end of our tumur, tum, tumur, tum, tumurious freshman year. So yeah, 1 month has passed. So that clock is now at 15 minutes before midnight. And while that last bit of the Midoriya's narration kicks in, we cut to Ida, and he's saying, Happy New Year, my fellow classmates. And we got flavor text here saying, with the end of everyone's internships. And we move on to the next page. We go inside the class of 1A, and Ida's just having a long talk, and he says, For today's class, you'll be giving practical reports on your internships. Be prepared to share what you gain through your experiences. And Ida continues on the next panel. Now then, let's suit up and head to the ground alpha. And after that statement said, Aizawa bursts open the door and he says, Stop talking and get moving. And we see Pinky, Froppy, and Ida getting out, and Pinky just says, Sensei, Happy New Year. And Aizawa continues. And Aizawa continues. I'm done briefing the class on today's agenda, just like you asked. And we have Charge Bolt in the next panel, and he says, Ida's all fired up, huh? And we cut back to Ida, and he continues. Manuel, the hero I interned with, led a team at Hosu. It was a short week, but I've learned. And we move to the next page, and Ida continues, the art of being flexible. And Charge Bolt's just like, and Seraphine's just saying, all fired up. He's like a bicycle bike with a loose chain. And Aizawa's just looking at this like, what the hell? And then on the next panel, we get the intercom saying, Aizawa Sensei, please report to the faculty office. And then we cut away to the changing room for the girls, and we continue with Oraka wearing her new pieces of gear. And people have said that Oraka had a bit of a redesign with her costume. And she's got mostly a new visor and a gauntlet. And I think it's mostly the same, just the visor change and the gauntlet change. And she's just saying, really, thank goodness. And earphone jacks are saying, this thing is so heavy. Your wrist guard. And Uraka continues, there's a wire inside. Thanks. So I can nullify its weight with my quirk, but the case is very heavy. Oh, I think I screwed it up with Invisible Girl just saying, Uraka, did you change your costume? It looks so good on you. And then Uraka says, really, thanks, goodness. And Earphone Jack continues, this thing is so heavy. Your wrist guard. And Uraka saying, there's wire inside, thanks. So I can nullify its weight with my quirk, but the case is really heavy. And we have Pinky picking up her belt. That's always been part of her costume. And she says, "And what's over here?" And something slips out of the pockets. And Uraraka's just saying, "Ah." And what's fallen onto the floor is the All Might keychain that Midoriya gave to her. And oh boy. And Earphone Jack noticed while Uraraka's tried to quickly grab it before Pinky can react. And Earphone Jack says, "Isn't this?" And Pinky's thinking about it from the time of the Christmas holidays, and she's starting to realize, wait, did Midoriya give that to you? And then Pinky just says, "Oh, I get it." And while she's about to turn around, being going to go nuts, and Uraraka probably says, "No, you don't, Ashido." And Uraraka continues, "For real, it's not like that." And Uraraka just continues, "I'll just put this away." And with that, we cut back to Midoriya in getting ready for getting ready, and Red Riot continues, and he says, "You managed to control that black thing." No way, this, no way, that was so fast. And Tokoyami's just watching like he knows darkness. And we continue, and with Midoriya speaking, "Yeah, I can only handle it for a moment, and it doesn't have many uses, but it's strong." And the very next panel after saying that sentence, a piece of Bakugo just basically tosses part of his mask on the side of his head. And Bakugo's just disgusted by it, and he says, "Disgusting." And Red Riot continues, "Bakugo, what are you doing?" And Sugar Man just continues, and he says, "This is bad. His gray matter is oozing out." And okay, sorry about that. Uh, so where were we? Oh yeah, Sugar Man's just saying, "This is bad. His gray matter is oozing out." And we see Mineta just screaming out, "Midoriya!" And at least Mineta's not doing anything prunish today. And we then cut to outside, and Midoriya is stuck with a piece of Bakugo's mask stuck on there in his head. It's probably for comedic purposes, but Midoriya continues, "In essence, I need to let my body adapt to using it. Right now, it throws off my sense of speed, so my brain can't keep up." And we hear, and then with the students outside, someone else says, "I am," and it's All Might. We all know he will say that, so how is he going to finish it? "I am making I am making cotton candy." Okay, that's slightly funny. And there's a bit of a note here. "I am here" is 15 syllables away from it's a cotton candy. So apparently, maybe in the Japanese language it makes sense. And everybody else just says All Might. And one of the students asks, "Where's Aizawa sensei?" And All Might answers the question, hey guys, how are you just how are you just gonna ignore my almighty gag like that?" Oh god, even he's aware that this has become a gag at this point. "I was pretending to say I am here." And after that little bit of a joke, All Might continues and he says, "Due to emergency reasons, Aizawa sensei had to leave just a few moments ago." So that was what that PA was bringing up about Aizawa had to go to the faculty office. So something big has just came down and got Aizawa to go on an emergency reason. So after that statement with All Might, we cut to someone. We cut to presumably Aizawa in his car, and he's going somewhere. And in the next page, we do see Aizawa being annoyed, and he's not alone, and he's with President Mike with him. So President Mike and Aizawa are technically called friends. They are good friends, so they do know each other for a very long time throughout their during the UA years. And Aizawa's just a little annoyed, and he's saying, "You can't you go any faster?" And then President Mike argues with a very not comedic, not being his comedic self and being serious with a serious look on his face, and he says, "Shut up and calm down, man." And Aizawa's even more serious look going on. And I think it's Aizawa speaking this next line, and he says, "That thing we fought at USJ, that kind of behavior, not in the least." So who are they addressing the statement to? The only thing I can think of is Nomu, the very first Nomu we ever saw. So we got to page 10 and we have Aizawa continue. Oh, so that was President Mike speaking that statement, my fault. And Aizawa continues and he says, "There's a limit to how bad your taste can be." And President Mike continues and he says, "As for me, I want to believe that it's just Tsuki-san's big misunderstanding." And what's their destination in the next at the last panel of chapter 10? Well, they're off to Tartarus prison, home to all the supervillains, and also have Kurogiri, where Kurogiri, All for One, Stain, Musculature, and I know there's one more. I can't remember. Moonfish. Yeah, Moonfish is there, and most of the original group Vanguard of the Vanguard squad that were captured during the camp arc. So we head inside into Tartarus prison, and think I don't know who's speaking, and there seems to be a conversation between with with a with Tatsuki and Gran Torino having a conversation. And don't know which one's speaking. They start with saying, "As you two are as you two are well aware, the Nomu are created by modifying human bodies." Yeah, we already know that. "To withstand the stimulus possession simultaneous possession of multiple quirks. However, these are not living human bodies. From their brains to their hearts, their bodies are a complete mess. In other words, the Nomu are puppets, marionettes without a soul." So Gran Torino and Tetsu just telling information to President Mike and Aizawa that we already know. What the hell is this so important? And Gran Torino argues, and on the next page he says, "Or so we thought." So they found some new information on the Nomus? And Aizawa continues, "Gran Torino, I have to leave class to come here. Please, get to the point." And Aizawa's getting really serious about this subject. And President Mike just grabs Aizawa's shoulder, and he says, Aizawa. And we cut back to Tetsu, and he continues, things have an order to them. It's it This is all necessary so that you can prepare your heart as well. What the hell's going on now? And Gran Torino continues, this guy is the center of the League of Villains. Oh, are we going to All for One? And on page 13, on the next page, and we don't see who the person is just yet on the top panel, and I think Gran Torino is speaking. If we could somehow get him to talk, we could get straight to the heart of the issue. Unfortunately, he hasn't given us a single piece of useful information. And while this conversation is going, the door to the prisoner they're going to see starts to open up, and Gran Torino continues. He talks about tons of useless stuff, but not a word about anything we could use against the League. When it comes to the League, he suddenly becomes unresponsive, like his powers have been cut or something. And President Mike interrupts and he says, in other words, and Aizawa finishes that sentence, it's quite complex, so it took us a while to notice. And in the bottom of page 13, we see the prisoner that they've gone to see, and it's Kurogiri, still stuck in his cell, tied up. And a reminder for Kurogiri's abilities, he could teleport, create portals, and try to escape. So, yeah. So, they're implying that Kurogiri is. What is this chapter trying to imply? Is Kurogiri a Nomu? Because. Okay, 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 so. Is this chapter implying that Kurogiri has been a Nomu all this time? Not a really dumb Nomu, by the way. As in a high-end Nomu, technically. Like, this is that Kurogiri is one of the more successful high-end Nomus, and give a reminder, high-end Nomus are intelligent. They are clever and they could communicate. So basically, a reminder, normal Nomus are dumb and stupid, and basically to a I'm just going to try to put it in broad terms, in intelligence, in dinosaur terms, that the dumb Nomus that we saw in the SUJ is basically a T-Rex just being stupid and only attack on instinct and command, while a high-end Nomu is basically a Velociraptor that is a very, very clever creature and knows how to hunt and kill. So, yeah. So, and Kurogiri is basically a high-end Nomu and being intelligent all this time. Okay, if it's going that way, then kudos for hiding the fact that I didn't notice. I thought he was just an ordinary person. So it continues with so with that out of the way, let me continue finishing. Not much to go. But in his case, multiple factors have been combined to form a single new quirk. So there is a possibility that some of the quirks that were added into a Nomu can fuse either artificially. Some people are saying that the quirks can be artificially fused together to make new ones. And that's what I'm thinking going on. And the text continues. And at the root of all those factors is. So, what's going to happen in the next page? on page 14, we get a full view on Kurogiri, and either Gran Torino continues and he says, "The man who once worked with you two at UA through thick and thin, Shota," and then we cut to a random person, Shota. Oh, wait. No, I screwed it up. "The man who once worked with you two at UA through thick and thin and made to lose his life at surely a early age, Shota." And then we get to the new person that we just been introduced, Shota. And it continues with Gran Torino finishing and says, "It bears an incredible resemblance to the man once known as Shirakumo Oboro. An all too sudden revelation." Chapter number 253N. And next issue, a full color cover page. And that bit the whole Shirakumo thing. I thought he was just a new character when I first read this, but no. We have technically, we did get a little nugget of him all the way back from the end of the 1A versus 1B arc with Aizawa and President Mike. Did had a conversation about how Aizawa's apprentice that was oh shoot we that Aizawa's apprentice, and there was a comment from President Mike, and he was saying, "Oh, do you just see your apprentice as Shirakubo or yourself?" And we did have a flashback, but I didn't get it at the time. So it's coming back to that little conversation is coming back here now with Shirakumo, and technically other people would know him from My Hero Academia Vigilantes. So technically, they brought a vigilante character into the story, and from after reading it the first time, I was a little confused. So I went onto the internet and watched other videos. So I went onto the YouTube and looked up this guy, and he was brought up, and yeah, from what I know, Shirakumo was a friend of Aizawa and President Mike during their time at UA, and his quirk, Shirakumo's quirk, was making clouds, and his costume was similar looking to the story of the Monkey King, by making a nimbus cloud. And sadly, Aizawa and President Mike's good friend, like what it said on this chapter, he did die at a very young age. He was only 17 when he died. And I don't know what specifically killed him. He got hit by a rock or something. I have no idea. That they were in a big villain fight and he died to a rock. He hit his head with a rock when he was tossed around. Maybe, I'm not 100% sure, but I would like the comments to explain it more because I don't have the full story. I will probably leave a link to one of the people that I've seen who talks about Shirakumo up above. So yeah, and yeah, there's now more complications to this. Are they like the whole Kurogiri being a high-end Nomu technically is a bit shocking, but I don't know if this what this chapter is implying, that I can think of two horrible things that the writer is trying to imply. Like the first one, that Shurakumo's dead body was used to create Kirogiri. That is, Kirogiri is in the driver's seat, like they made an artificial person's mind and put it into a dead body's corpse, and they capitalized Shirakumo's corpse to make it work and add those other quirks to make Kirigiri's teleportation quirk. Or they used, or my second thing, implication, that we all know that the Mad Doctor does have access to Tartarus, and he could collect quirks, like copy quirks, and he did run those children's hospitals and the children orphanages. He ran the Mad Doctor ran his orphanages to collect quirks from children that he experimented on. Even his own grandson was a guinea pig for his machination and experimentations. Either the Mad Doctor went into the morgue and took Shurakumo's quirk DNA and copied it to add it into Kirigiri, or did the Mad Doctor stole Shurakumo's corpse to be the base model of Kirigiri? That's probably my two big thoughts on the argument. And I know that the Mad Doctor is sick and ill, and he's freaking demented, my implying that sickening thought. So yeah, that was chapter 253, and yeah, it's starting to lead into the dark stuff again. So yeah, you're gonna leave that on until next week with all those sickening thoughts. And so until then, I will see you next week for chapter 254, and maybe we'll get more clarification on what the implications are for this. So yeah, until then, I will see you next week. So until then, have a good day, everybody, and bye for now.